don't know how the hell I talk myself in this kind of situation where I have to get into an emotional roller coaster for myself to describe what the emotional roller coaster is that I put myself through. End of August, time index I can't see where the hell. No, 9:30 actually. PM. New John Series, California, yada yada yada. So what's going on? Drives me crazy is when I start getting my thoughts and feelings in different orders left and right, that I seem to be having problems trying to communicate with that with myself. Dealing with the concept of caregiving. Seems like I'm going back into the professor mode instead of talking about it personally at this point. Because if I haven't talked about it personally, I'll be pissing off people left and right. Because of faulty language or anything else, maybe faulty information, I'll piss off people left and right. But this is my own thoughts and experiences and feelings about the damn shit. So, Google, YouTube, get over this damn shit. Sometimes I get tired of it. I mean, everyone I want to talk about my own personal thoughts and feelings about observations. It's wrong because it's against terms and conditions at this point over here. Bite me, guys. I'm having an issue right now as it is. I used to be a caregiver. Ad hoc, but yeah, a caregiver. I wasn't licensed by the state or by the county. Licensed by anybody. I did what I did. You did what you had to do when you were a family. I got drafted into being a caregiver at a young age, at a teenage age. As a young kid, you see your parent or parents taking care of your elderly aunts and uncles or relatives, basically. If they're living in their home, and become part of your family. It didn't occur to me at the time I should have been asking. And I probably did, but it didn't have the concept of it. I was just learning about it. And my mother was dealing everything new of being a caregiver. Dealing with the bureaucracies, dealing with the heartache and hardships, dealing with the day-by-day situation of whether or not the loved one is going to be going to the hospital for the last time, or are they coming back home at all. Call an ambulance, and then everything else goes hell in a handbasket. You're a kid watching this damn stuff, and you're like, now what am I doing? And the parent or the caregiver in the family taking care of the elderly in your home. I mean, if they're a family, they have to deal with a hell of a lot of issues of how to deal and balance their own emotions and trying to calm things down for everybody else, trying to find ways to calm themselves down in order to deal with what's going on, seeing that they're charged going into a facility that's going to need give them immediate care, and then the potential of putting them into a long-term care that takes away anything and everything from you. My mother had to deal with that one. I really had to think about a lot of things growing up. And sometimes it just didn't occur to me as much until everything else was starting to jug in the last 3 or 4 years and what it was really meant to be a caregiver. And afterwards, a caretaker. But a caregiver, the most important thing. Didn't dawn on me as a kid. Seeing my grandmother and my aunt at home, living at home, and I'm just turned 10, 11, 10, growing up to about 11, 12, 13, and seeing my aunt die. The hardest damn thing for me to do. But within that period, how to change a relationship and a dynamic with an elderly aunt, from a mean old aunt into a loving woman. And you'd be willing enough to play cards with her. And she wouldn't have to be grumbling and growling at you. That's not just those kind of memories. It's having to see my great aunt or my grandmother being taken to the hospital for one thing or another. And usually it's a failing body. Heart, respiration, blood pressure, diabetes. I didn't realize this damn thing was going on. I didn't have any, no knowledge, context, perspective, all that stuff I kept saying in all my previous videos about what you get when you get older. What you get is also more of a logistical nightmare in your head over this stuff. The emotions and the thoughts and the memories. What puts me into a damn emotional straitjacket. You'd be surprised it puts viewers in a straitjacket as well if they have to deal with that crap. We had Kaiser Permanente panorama the city close by in San Fernando Valley. We were living in Arleta at the time. That became my aunt's home on some occasions, especially when she had health problems. Valley Hospital on Sherman Way and Van Nuys at the time in that area. That was my grandmother's place. She always ended up in level 4. And they all knew Mary Ann, my mother, and hell knew Claire. It's like, welcome back, Claire. We'll get you going. We'll get you out of here in no time. How are the boys? Oh, Johnny's downstairs. Okay, well, we have somebody keeping an eye on him. Johnny is Lego that keeps falling apart on him left and right, scattering all over the damn place. And I have to go all over the damn parking lot to scrap every damn piece of paper, piece of Lego that I dropped. And then go into the hallway, into the main lobby downstairs, which becomes the children's area, because now they gotta watch me. If I'm not allowed to go upstairs in level 4, I'm not old enough for that damn stuff, I have to stay down below. You know, I'm allowed to go down below in the cafeteria and have some food. Come right back and stay at level 4 while somebody keeps an eye on me. While I'm making sure my Lego doesn't fall apart all over the damn place again. Meanwhile, my grandmother be recovering from a heart situation or maybe a little bit of a heart attack or something like that. It drove me nuts. It drove me nuts. It was almost as bad enough as leaving the toys behind and coming over to Kaiser Permanente every so often to see my aunt in a hospital. I mean, it would happen maybe 2 or 3 times. This is where we're taking care of her. Grandmother would be a hell of a lot worse. A lot worse than that. But at least both places knew us. Oh, the boys are here. There's David. There's little Johnny. I'm always little Johnny. Always had to make sure that I stay away from sick people because they also knew about the damn ticker. There wasn't a play area when I saw my aunt over at Kaiser Permanente. I just went up there and saw her. But they did have small waiting rooms I'd wait in. You weren't visiting for about an hour or 2 and then get the hell out of there and do other stuff at home. Take care of Grandma. Someone would be taking care of her. Unless Grandma and Aunt May were in 2 different places at the same time. You try traveling from one place to another place. That's really fun right there. Having the state cover everything, but still, it's a pain in the ass to deal with. And to see my mother stressing like crazy. I was surprised she didn't end up in the damn hospitals during those times. She was a hell of a lot stronger than she went on. A lot stronger. Despite the fact of taking care of my grandmother at home when my brother wasn't around, and she had to wreck her back a little bit. She had to be in the restraints at home for weeks on end. And we had to have relatives and friends help take care of Grandma and Aunt May and me. I think it happened before David went into the Navy. Ma's back got better, and he was actually able to get into the Navy. He's still worried about Ma. My grandmother was still able to get to the bathroom and able to get to places, and so was Aunt May. We always had to make sure that they were able to get to places that they needed to and stay the hell away from the damn den. We didn't want them falling down all over the place. When we moved out from the house in Arleta, age 12 or age 13, this is 79. 76 I had my 10th. 77 I had my 11th. 78 I had my 13th. 14 years. She's starting junior high. I was just getting a junior high at age 13. I'm busing it. I had to deal with Aunt May's death. Then we had to deal with the eviction. Moving into another house, a little bit larger. A bit run down. And I was home for about 5 years. I was home about 5 years. I had to deal with Grandma being over there for about 3.5. Three and a half. Stroke ridden. And the only hospitals to be able to take care of her while we needed them was Holy Cross. Grandmother was Catholic. A day-by-day operation for the caregiver. You wake up, you make sure that everything else is ready to take care of your charge, make sure everything else is quiet. And if Grandma actually slept without screaming her head off in the middle of the night saying, "Fred, Fred," you're going to be having somewhat of a day. I would have to make sure that she had the food ready. Sometimes she had to puree it. I'll cut it real fine for Grandma to somewhat chew it. We had to find places that actually had Ensure Plus cake batter, basically. Tasted like it too. There were a few other places that dealt with right by Van Nuys Airport area that Ma would have to get to one way or another and get the supplies necessary. Blue chucks. Now the damn things would look similar to the pads you use for your dogs when you're doing pee training, except they didn't have any smells or scents. Hell of a lot larger. About as absorbent as that anyway. And these checks would be coming in bulk. Get the huge boxes. Shove them in a damn station wagon. Bring them back home. You're shelling out money did you get from the state aid for this? We didn't have to worry about the chucks as much. We're dealing with Aunt May and Grandma living. And we didn't have to worry about the pads because we actually had commodes available for them. Grandma actually had a commode, and so would Aunt May. If need be, if they couldn't get to the bathroom, that was alright, we got them taken care of. I should have had my own private bedroom. Grandma should have had the main bathroom, the main bedroom. She should have. I mean, why didn't we think of it at the time? I could have lived in the back of the room with David, and Ma and Grandma would have had their own bedroom. They could have worked out. Didn't. Some things seemed logical at the time. Actually, when I think about it from hindsight, I would have changed some things. I would have changed a few things like that. The boys would have been in the back, and Grandma would have been by the front window, catching in the sights. That would have been something for her to be in. But no, we didn't. We had her well in the back. That was real stupid. But things went. She stroked. She goes on a trip to San Diego after having an argument with Mom. And she gets the stroke. She's in the home for a few days. Actually in the hospital for a few days, trying to recover and stabilize. Ma goes out there. She has an argument with her brother and family out there. They were willing to put her into a damn home. Ma says, no, she's coming with me. She was adamant. So we brought Grandma home. Maybe at the time I was thinking she should have been in the other place, but hindsight, I'm glad she was home. But now comes the hard part for Mama. I mean, she did have a big bed to have her back rested a bit, but she didn't have enough time to have all that sleep necessary. Grandma kept her up half the time, and the rest of the time when she was actually sleeping. Some days you didn't know whether or not she was going to be crapping in her bed or not. We had to roll her over. We had to have a mechanical winch, put her in a sling, winch her up, get the sheets and pads taken care of, throw it out to the wash, get them washed up, throw new ones on the hospital bed. More blue chucks. Always had to make sure that we had enough blue chucks. Not to mention some of them actually came handy with the imbalance of the washer. If the washer wasn't balanced correctly, it'd be sloshing liquid all over the damn place. Dave and I had to be slogging up damn stuff all over the place in the garage. As we were living in the Caregiver. God. What a nightmare. Middle of the night. Fred! Mama, there's no friend there. I just saw Fred. Fred's here. Where's Fred? I don't see him. In the middle of the night. I'm surprised the neighbors didn't freak out as much. But they didn't hear it. Unless they weren't complaining, and neither was the cops. The cops wasn't coming over. At least I didn't know, and wasn't even paying attention to it because most of my days was over at school. And then the weekends, that's when I really got into it. One thing I noticed, some vices that you have to have for survival on some occasions, you don't mess with someone else's vice, otherwise you're going to get the wrath. That's all I got to say to protect her dignity on this one. But I had to have it for Mama. Mama was struggling like crazy, and she kept writing to David about it. David was trying to find ways to get the hell out of the Navy one way or another, and he did. Cost him his career, cost him everything. But he was going to be hell-bent on taking care of the family one way or another, despite the sacrifices he had to make in order to do so. You do what you can for family, but there's always a point. Sometimes you definitely don't have the choice in the matter. And that was blood. Grandma was familiar. She was the patriarch. We had some family members coming by every once in a while to take a look, see how she was doing. At least they called and let us know when they were coming. We vacuumed out the place if I had my friends with me. If not, I was doing most of the damn work, or all of it anyway. If David was there or not. My friends were there. At least I had someone else to help with me. Major stories on this one, taking care of Grandma for 3 years. That'll be a major video on this one. Fun part, trying to get groceries. You have somebody watching over Grandma, and you have to go over to a nearby store and get the groceries. Sometimes over at Gemco, a nearby one. or bonds. And you would have to show food stamps. Other things you would have to pay by cash. You had to be stringent on the cash. Make it last for a month. You weren't going to get any more unless you borrowed from some other people. Some things you had to live without. Make cheap-ass decisions, nothing right. As long as the money was holding out, as long as you had food money, and you had to find ways to get it stretched. And it didn't give and didn't pay out that much. Meat markets helped. One guy still helped us out a great deal regarding the meat. Stan Ray's meat market. Used to have it all Anchorship. Our burger joint across the street from Beacon's. 6-foot hole in the wall. Same street, same side where the GR place was. Just several units down a bit. Helped us out a great deal. And some of the stuff we had to keep getting. I had to be on food aid over at school. You couldn't afford the nutrition, lunch, breakfasts, anything over there, so I was on a food program. You get stamps for breakfast or nutrition, and then you get a stamp for lunch. You get whatever they had over there. For breakfast, they had their traditional coffee cake, which everybody these days, and as an adult, loves to have. Not to mention a round pork sausage. Not Jimmy Dean's, but the damn thing was somewhat edible for a hockey puck. And then you had juice. Like you never got milk. Nutrition. Either more coffee cake and a hockey puck, or you get a burrito. And then milk. And then lunch was whatever they were serving. Meanwhile, while I'm having studies happening, Ma's still dealing with backache, dealing with laundry. She wasn't doing all the laundry, she was just piling it up for David and me, or actually for me and anybody else who's going to be helping me out to do the laundry. She also had to worry about getting food fixed for the family. We didn't do takeout all that often because we couldn't afford it. So it was cooking all the time. Cooking, baking. Sometimes good stuff, and other times survivable. I was always in the middle of the night to drive me crazy. Especially when you're dealing with a person who had half her brain working and half the memories functioning during that time. And it was hard as hell when David was there, because sometimes he'd be smoking it up, but other times he wasn't. Oh, he'd leave his smoking outside. And if he was going to do his other smoking, he had to limit that stuff too. And Mama had a pissed off then, because she had to track every damn cent we had in the house. Anything regarding changes or special changes she stored. And no wonder she went up all the damn time, because I used up a lot of her savings that we could have used. And I blame myself for that one. Doing a lot of adult retrospection and a lot of memory on this one. There was other things I put her through that if I had only known better, and I didn't. I got no excuse for it. There's none. The things were... Yeah. Now, I can't change the past on this damn thing. I don't even know how to make it up to a spirit at this point. I wouldn't even know how to make it up to Ma. And when I've been taking care of her, I've been trying to take care of her and trying to make it up, and I think I was failing miserably at that too. Dave was doing most of the work. I was doing the support work. What else could I have done? Ma got worse and worse. When we moved out here to the Antelope Valley, she was losing too many people left and right that she cared about. She was losing her business left and right. And it seems like she was just giving up on anything and everything and just turned into a complete closet case. Except for going to the store maybe on some occasions, maybe to get her nails done, or to the hospital more times than often. But when she became more and more ill and more bedridden, that's when it really became more and more problematic for me and my brother. We had made a commitment to Ma a long time ago, while taking care of Grandma, that we would never put Ma into a nursing home. And David was adamant on that one. I heard it. And then he had to bring me to the side and make the same damn commitment about Ma. We weren't going to do it. We weren't going to put Grandma into a nursing home. We sure as hell weren't going to put Ma into a nursing home. We'd struggle with what we'd had. We struggled, period. Ma's died. We struggled with that too. We had to have the technology and gadgets these days. Grandma used to use a bell all the time. Well, we had a bell for Ma to use. Until David found it easier to get a baby monitor. Last 2 or 3 years of Ma's life, she was living with a baby monitor instead of a bell when she needed help. She couldn't call out one way or another. And at the time, taking care of Mama at the apartments, Montesino, Lancaster. It's 5 years per month. I'm working my ass off at a job that we just got. And Ma was still living in her bedroom. We had a house on Populous for about several months. Issues with the landlord, and then we got out, which was court won, but we still got out anyway. We're still going to be using the place. We found a place to get into. That's where we got into Montecito. Ma was still able to be wheeled around in a wheelchair or on a scooter, so she was able to get around and show she was still able to. Most of the time she lived in the bedroom with a television and a computer. And sometimes I'd have to be with her too, but David was doing 24/7. He did the running around. Dave and I did most of it. We did all the cooking. We did all the laundry. We did all the house cleaning. And we did that for years. Well, we finally had David back home. And after he got out of the Navy, there's long stories on this one. Suffice it to say, Dave and I were the cleanup. We were the cooking. Ma was doing specialty baking and cooking at times, so me and David would be doing the meat and potatoes. Did that for years. Got to the point where Ma was not doing more and more of the cooking and specialty baking. Dave was taking more of that away from her. Not because she wasn't showing much interest in it, mentally and physically. And, it was hard as hell for that for us to deal with. I mean, David's a good cook when he was alive. He didn't get food poisoned. We joked about Ma's cooking growing up, and then as adulthood we joked about it. But I should be grateful about Ma's cooking and David's cooking because it helped me learn how to do survival cooking. I still know how, I just haven't been doing it as lately. I can use a damn stove. I can use an oven. So if the damn things are working right, I can work on it. No problem. It just doesn't have to be microwave cooking all the damn time. Well, he was doing it 24/7. I'm working my ass off. Had a job, trying to earn enough money for us to pay bills and get us some food in the household. And David was still getting food stamps to help out. And then we still had to do food runs at different food delivery places, actually the food delivery places. So also paid for their rent. And every so often we had to take her to the doctor's office or to the hospital. Something would happen with her. Next day or two, she'd be coming back. Most of the times we still had to clean up the place. It became a chore, grabbing necessities, shoving them into a bag, hauling him into a damn space no larger than the chair I've got right now, sitting in the front of an ambulance. While in the back, Ma, or last few years, David would be in the back of the bay where they're being treated at. And if David was still alive and Ma was going to the hospital, David would be dragging the car over, whether right back home, or we'd have to have special transportation bringing back Ma. Last year or two, I was becoming more of that, because she would not be able to get into a damn car. We'd have to rush right back home, clean the place up, make sure we had clean beds and vacuum up the place real fast, just so when she got in, she wouldn't have to deal with the dirty bedroom, or let alone a dirty living room, and have to clean up the place right afterwards. It wasn't very fun. It wasn't supposed to be. It is what it is. It was what it was. Things we had to do. Some of the time, Ma would be awake when she was going over to the hospital. She'd be chattering up a storm with the firemen. I'm surprised we didn't have enough conversations enough at the sheriff's department with the fire guys we did at the local station. Fire chief every so often would get on my brother's ass about not putting her into a damn home. My brother would fire back. We told you. David, John and I made a promise and made a commitment a long time ago. We did this for our grandmother. And we did this for Ma. There's no way in hell they're going to be going into a damn nursing home. We'll take care of them. He probably got sick and tired of the whole damn situation, but I wonder how many people he'll also dealt with who are managing the same issue of their own loved one. The decision of whether or not to put him into a nursing home and forget about him, or do the job themselves and take care of him. And it takes a hell of a lot of commitment, a lot of resources. It takes a hell of a lot out of you, but I would not change it. And I would have to make a hell of a lot of corrections of some of the stuff I should have done for Ma better than I had. I mean, I had gotten up, get about an hour or two of sleep after going to bed around 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And she'd be wanting a midnight snack, eggs and bacon, or pomelos, or both. Eggs, bacon, and toast. Okay, fine, we get that one for her. She was able to eat it and enjoy it, and feed it to her too. Take another snooze about 2 or 3 hours, get up, shower like fast, shower like crazy, get the stuff done, throw the clothes on, get myself out the damn door to the job. Bust my ass for about 8 hours over there, come back home being pissed off as hell. Try not to carry the attitude in dealing with Ma and her situation. And I'm surprised I hadn't wigged out myself. And I kept trying to tell people what the hell was going on, but I'm surviving. Deep inside, I felt like taking a baseball bat and beat the hell out of something, because all the stress trying to take care of her and take care of the job at the same time, not to mention watch my brother's back at the same time. All of it was taking a hell of a stress on me at that point. The God's supposed to put on your shoulders is exactly what you can handle, and that was handling it. I'm surprised I didn't have a stroke. I'm surprised I didn't have a heart attack at that point. And I'm surprised I didn't have a nice long term in the hospital. or even a psych ward for that matter. I didn't know where the hell the strength was coming from. I was still managing, and I was still barely surviving at the time. But when David was telling me that the last year of her life that she was dying, and kept trying to prep me for the damn thing, I kept pushing him out away from this damn shit. I did not want to understand it. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to hear about it. Nothing of it. Not a damn thing. But I also told him, I'm not going to put your ass in the damn hospital, all right? The worst comes to worst, I'm taking care of your ass. Because that's my job. And he knew it too. I had to eat my words on that one. After Mom died, Dave and I already had our misadventures, where we ended up in the place we're living in right now. His health conditions started getting worse and worse. We already lost our car. Didn't have a place. He started having more and more heart issues. He was already having the angina attacks, even when he was taking care of Mama. And Mama was still barely able to get around. It got worse and worse. He argued with Ma about it a couple of times. But he, like Ma, did not want to stay in the emergency room and did not want to be staying in the hospital at all. Sometimes he was able to get home, and other times he stayed overnight. When my brother stroked out, 2018, was the day before he passed away. He was in the hospital for overnight, trying to get his glucose level down. Prior to that, he was going in there several times in the past 2 or 3 years. I made it into a damn routine like I did with Ma. Grab the gear necessary, throw it in a damn backpack, grab your cane, put it up into the ambulance, start making the calls for transportation and telling people what the hell was going on. That was a routine for taking care of David all the time. And not to mention Ma. We already had transportation, so what the hell we didn't need it for in the first place. Me, I added the thing about making transportation because I needed a way home. In case David and me got out of there about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, which happened to maybe once or twice, we needed a way to get the hell home. Sometimes we'd have friends waiting, and we thanked them for it. There's not enough thank yous for that. There's not enough. I can repay on that one. Life of a caregiver. A lot of sacrifices one has to make sometimes. And decisions one's going to have to live with, even with the decisions, even after your charge is gone. Some of the stuff my mother had to deal with, she had to take care of, she had to pay back. And she didn't like to. But she had to, because we had to survive for a while. But she busted her ass after Grandma's death. She tried to make a life. And she met a lot of wonderful people, and she lost the same wonderful people too. It took a toll on her. And when she lost everyone that she loved, one by one by one, it's like seeing a part of her soul leave. Until there was only a shell of a mother or saw. I've seen the same damn thing in myself, because when my brother left, it's like maybe I'm seeing my own mirror. I had to do things I wasn't liking to do, taking care of my brother. Decisions made that'll be affecting me down the road and be biting me in the ass, one way or another. Others had the immediate effect, and the other ones have a long-lasting effect even after the immediate. And taking care of them, you're giving everything of yourself to them, especially with their family, especially when you've made that bond, that commitment. And sometimes for some people it's just too damn much, and they'll put them with their charges into homes or living assistance centers. I didn't. Maybe I was too damn stupid or desperate or scared enough that how the hell is I going to be taking care of myself if, I don't know. But I took care of my brother. Don't ask me where the hell I had the strength, because I sure as hell don't know. Some people say, yeah, they forgot. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. And some of the decisions I was making I did not like. And some of the paths I had to take I didn't like either. Some of the stuff I had to do and things I had to commit myself to I didn't like either. I'm not saying you're proud. Saying I did not like some of the stuff I had to go through. Hard as it is, and hard as it was. When he passed, it wasn't relief. It wasn't all sigh of relief saying, oh shoo, I'm done with this damn thing. It's like everything had built up to a crescendo, and I couldn't deal with it. Nor could I deal with the silence afterwards. So I wanted the sound to go on and on. There's something indescribable. Something I would never get back. I started to realize how more and more I identified with the people who have lost their loved ones. David, Ma, Grandma, they all lost people that tore them apart, and they tried to rebuild left and right. They tried to make some kind of semblance of their lives, of their sanity, of their mental state. I kept asking myself, how the hell were they doing that? And some days I have to ask myself, how the hell am I still doing this shit? I'm not trying to be macho about it. There's nothing macho about it. It's just waking up and realizing every single day that I'm here, I'm alive, I'm alone. There's no way in hell I should be surviving. But I am. I keep expecting them to be alive, they're not. Surviving this stuff isn't the easiest damn thing in the world. Caregiving for them isn't easy either, especially when you give it all, and then more, and then other things you're not supposed to. And then one day, when it happens and they're gone. Bewilderment, shock, more disbelief, more of your walls crumbling down, and you're seeing the world shatter. You're lucky enough to have other people trying to walk you through the damn shit. But no, you wake up every single day and you have to still go back from scratch again, because some days the walls are already down and you still have to rebuild it again and again and again and again. It's never the damn same. It's never the same. I don't know about relationships anymore. I don't know anything about any part of that. I do know that other people or other creatures that suffer the way you do, or the way I have, I still have to deal with. She has been through it. And we're both survivors. And some days it's hard for her because she still feels the pain. You know she does. I feel it. I feel it at times. I feel it as well. I think that for people. Just keep it as well. Yeah, I know, I hear you. else can I say about caregiving? Financially taxing. Sometimes you have to deal with bureaucracies. Sometimes you have to deal with medical facilities. You have to deal with legal. You have to deal with everyday life. You have to deal with the paperwork of dealing with power of attorneys. You have to deal with advanced medical directives if you actually remember where the damn paperwork's at. My brother and I had to remember where all that damn stuff was in the first place because we needed it. If Mom was going to be ending up in a care facility for a short time, we still needed the power of attorney to help her go through the damn stuff, and my brother being a rep. Or try going through state agencies or county agencies to get the life support necessary to take care of your charge. There's a tap dance you have to do for that one as well. It's not fun. It's not fun dealing with that stuff. Whether or not you're going to get a hold of your handler or not. And then whether or not the paperwork's going to be there or not, whether or not you're going to get paid or not. In the hospitals, you don't have that durable, powerful attorney there to be a representative of your charge. They're going to be asking a lot of information from the charge who's not going to be there available, and they're going to be fighting for the next of kin. If you got the power of attorney and you also are the kin, that gives you a double plus. But if you just got the power of attorney, that gives you something to work with. But if you don't have anything, they're going to be located in that kin, and if there's no kin, then what do? We had to face that situation too. Going to pharmacies, trying to get the medications necessary. Try that one. Or contacting durable medical equipment facilities to get the equipment necessary to take care of your charge. Try that one. Or necessary replacement pads that you needed to get in order to take care of your charge. Try that one. It's not the simple everyday shopping that you have to get supplies or every other day when you can manage enough time for that. It's also being with them when they need it the most, especially when they're having an emotional bad day and you don't even realize the reason why. My brother's situation, he was a vet. He had enough situations happening in his lifetime that needed for my physical presence to walk him through the damn shit. How the hell do you deal with a guy with a PTSD situation? I already had enough problems with my own damn PTSD without being diagnosed. I already had enough ailments going on with me and my own mental illness. But I had to take care of that, put that off the table, take care of my brother's situation for the last several years of his life. And prior to that, deal with Moss. So if I actually had any issues happening during that time, screw it. But I had more of my physical ailments happening just as Mom was dying. It's like one damn thing after another. To a caregiver. Try that one. Being homeless with your charge. Try that one. Finding a place to live. I couldn't even make sure my brother stayed away from the damn schlemo. As this slug was milking him dry. Actually, about a couple of them anyway. It wasn't easy dealing with that one either. So yeah, I had a hell of a life dealing with being a caregiver at this point. Do I recommend it? Probably, because maybe you're so used to being caregiving you just shut everything aside. But I'm dealing with it because it was family. Not some stranger I got assigned to. So yeah, I had personal stakes in my situation. This was downright personal. I couldn't allow a stranger coming into the damn door and taking care of my brother. Not when I'm doing the damn work. We sure as hell didn't allow that when Mom was sick. It was one thing having charge nurses coming in. or lab technicians. That's one thing. Or somebody giving her a bath when we couldn't. And we paid for it out of pocket. We did that for Mama. David was still able to take a shower. As long as he could. We had to do something about that, didn't we? I did. This is me personally, okay? This is not me saying that I have all the guru answers. This is how I had to deal with it. And some days I wanted to scream and yell out loud. It was not even funny. There was no place for me to do it around. No place for me to vent. I had to keep it all inside. And I had been broken when my brother died. And there was still no place for me to tell about it in the first place except for social media and constant audio recordings and videos just to get the shit off my damn chest. I can't tell you how many damn guys I've got over here. And how many videos and audios I had. Or let alone images being saved left and right. But this is just me dealing with it. Me coping with it. Me trying to understand any and everything about this damn thing because it matters and it hurts like hell. I'm wasting a gig or two on this video here because I have to get this off my chest. I have to get the concept of being a caregiver and then being a caretaker afterwards off my chest because if you see the cabinet right behind me, this is where the chest of ashes are. And I'm a caregiver for that. I'm actually a caretaker for that. This is my mortuary now. This is my mausoleum I'm in. It's still happening. It's still happening. I don't know how to deal and I don't know how to talk with you people about this. I don't know if it's going to be acceptable or not. If it's going to be tossed out because of terms and conditions or not. This is my story. My story as a caregiver and caretaker. Because I still have to deal with the issues of both of them. Whatever they did in life, I still have to clean up the mess. I'm a survivor. I have no blood relatives nearby to help take care of me. I have no special friends that I can call upon and I'll take care of me in an instant when I need to. I take care of myself now. I'm still expecting the one and only visit from the Grim Reaper. Only I don't know if he's going to be grim or he's going to be grinning like crazy. I'm also expecting a visit to the hospital. Maybe to a psych ward. Or worse off, to the ER. Because some portion of my body is giving way at this point that I'm not even taking care of properly. And either give me a short run to the Grim Reaper or it's going to give me a longer run to the Grim Reaper. Either way, I know my goose is cooked shortly. And until that happens, I'm not counting down to the days that I'm not expecting it and I don't want it. I still have to live. I still have to fight for survival. I still have to keep whatever kind of limited sanity I've got while the rest of the universe and the rest of the world I see around me has already lost theirs and they call themselves sane. Please. Don't tell me what sanity is. Don't tell me that at all. But I can tell you. I told you everything. That I'm taking care of a dog and I'm going to take care of my mortal body here. And so we can get at least an hour or two's worth of rest before I get back up and drive myself insane again. Afterwards, working on a damn English assignment that still needs to be started. I'm not looking forward to that shit, but this is what happens the last few years of my life is still being a college student. Working on the 6th year. 2 classes at a time. And why not? Because I'm not about to kill myself with about 4 classes trying to kill myself that way. I did that as a 20-year-old. That's how I got my letter of discommendation or actually a letter of academic separation. Gave my mother an option of either kick me out of the damn house and be homeless, or work my ass off as a worker. Worked my ass off for 30 freaking years at different jobs and different levels and different skills. What the fuck? Such is life. Good night until the next video. I get bored of living crap alley. And by the way, this is October, so don't be surprised if there's going to be more sane things happening over here. While everybody is trying to howl it up and probably piss off YouTube and everybody else for that level, let me just say, YouTube and Google, I'll do some stuff that'll probably tick you off. I'll probably say some stuff. And you know what?